guys, I have a confession to make. I initially filmed this video the day that this album came out, but then the mic wasn't recording, and then I got sick, so I couldn't film for a couple days, and then when I got better from being sick, I had jury duty, until we got to the point where it's a week later. The universe just seems to not want me to make this damn video. But I'm telling the universe, f that. I guess that's just the life of a music commentary YouTuber, right? So yeah, obviously I've listened to this album, honestly, a couple times already. But think of this as less of an album reaction and more of an album perspective walkthrough. Because the truth is, I do kind of like this album, but obviously that's not the general consensus. So this video should be interesting. We got 12 songs and 41 minutes and 45 seconds of music. All right, track 1, The Fate of Ophelia. Ooh. Such a like smooth kind of 50s-esque jazz club vibe. Ooh. That synth, bro. And I. Those little backups, fire. You were just holding your powers, now I can see it all. Can you tell I've listened to this song a little bit? My heart from the fate of Ophelia. Your team, your vibes. I don't know, man. I have to say, I feel like the chorus could have been a little bit bigger. That's my one complaint about it. I love the vibe of the production that we have here. Definitely getting the album off to a good start. Ooh, those backups. Good chain, a crown. All that time. Ooh. Oh, that's weird. The layer on like the end of each line. Came for me. Oh, what is that? That's the key. Oh. Save my heart from the fate of Ophelia. That's just like a classic like red era album, bro. I love it. Oh, and we're back to just the piano. You know, as far as album openers go, Taylor pretty rarely misses. Ready For It on Reputation, freaking Lavender Haze. Oh my god, bro. Listening to Lavender Haze for the first time was actually insane. State of Grace, Welcome to New York, even Fortnite, you know? I don't think this song as an album opener is as strong or just like really slaps you across the face in the same way that some of those do. I would have loved a little bit more of a punchiness to that chorus to really just send it home. I heard you calling on the megaphone, you want to see me all alone. As legend has it, you're quite the pyro. You light the match to watch it blow. So this is clearly talking about, you know, how she heard about Travis before they actually met. And I guess being a pyro is just like having a fiery personality. That's definitely Travis Kelce. Bro is just like always yelling. Right before you lit my sky up. Now I have beef with this one line because you rearranged lit my sky up to lit up my sky and it would rhyme with the previous line. But now that you did lit my sky up, none of this rhymes. So like why? I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. All that time, I sat alone in my tower. You were just holding your powers. Travis Kelce's like charging up a spirit bomb in the back, bro. Now I can see it all. Late one night, you dug me out of my grave and saved my heart from the fate of Ophelia. See, this is why getting the chance to refilm my reaction is actually great, because the first time I filmed this video, I didn't even know who Ophelia was. The fate of Ophelia, I guess, is never finding love, right? And just like dying from not finding love, I guess. Solid song. I do like that it starts with that soft piano and like the really delicate drum, because it does kind of feel like reminiscent of TTPD, right? But then you get that drop with the synth that kind of goes, oh, okay, we're doing something different here. And that's a great way to shift, to say early on, hey, I did 31 songs of this like soft singer-songwriter pop. That's not what this is. Other than that, though, I think it's just okay. In a lot of ways, the melodic structure of it feels just kind of like a regular standard Taylor Swift song. In the grand scheme of things, it's kind of forgettable. But there's no blaring issues with it, in my opinion. You know, usually I'm not a big fan of the like crazy poetry talk. I just tend to prefer like less convoluted, more concise lyrics. But I do think the balance in this song is okay. It's not bad. Thirsty, bro. Oh my god. All right, track 2 is called Elizabeth Taylor. Now, this is another person that I didn't know when I first filmed this video, but if I remember correctly, I think she's an actress that also died, maybe? And the whole thing was like she had a bajillion relationships. I think she had like 8 marriages. Freaking insane. 8? Like, you to you, obviously. But can we all agree that 8 is kind of a lot? Let's just play the song. Elizabeth Taylor. Ooh, those strings. Oh. Portofino was on my mind when you called me at the Plaza Athénée. See, this is my thing, right? Sorry, I'm gonna pause real quick. That view of Portofino was on my mind when you called me at the Plaza Athénée. Am I supposed to know what any of that means? Like, be honest, you did not know what that meant. You had to look it up. It's just the new Taylor Swift songwriting style I'm just not a big fan of, bro. And I'm not saying there's not a place for that. Like, I respect it as something different. It's just not for me, man. I don't need niche references that I don't understand, that I'm not gonna care about either, really. But anyways. All right, we switched to AirPods because my headphones were being dumb.
Promised they'd stay under bright lights, they withered away.
When it came to being in the spotlight, because she's in the spotlight, they couldn't handle it. I like the drum. The drum is fire. And honestly, this overall production right here, it's just the piano, bro. That's corny. Oh. Oh, that bass. Come on. Just take a second. Just feel this, bro. Just enjoy this. Every time I hear that, I just think like... Ooh, with the guitar too, it's just like a grand orchestra vibe right now. It ruins it, I'm sorry, it does. That drum is so cool, and I love this kind of promiscuous kind of Reputation vibe we have, but that piano. Oh. I don't know. I have mixed feelings on this one. Like, I would say the overall energy of it, I do like because it feels very in line with, again, the aesthetics slash the pitch for this album. You know, like the music video for the Fate of Ophelia where she's like, kind of got the feather in her hair and she's doing like a little bit of this, you know? This song, I would say even more so than Fate of Ophelia captures that. It's just like, there's so many little things in the production that like make it so cool. Like that piano. What is that, bro? No, stop. That, and I think the strings are a little bit excessive. Very over the top. Let's take a look at these lyrics. I'm not even gonna touch that first verse. I don't really care. Portofino, Atene, what? I don't care. I'd cry my eyes violet, Elizabeth Taylor. The Taylor's eyes were famously described as violet, but they were likely a deep blue that appeared violet under certain lighting and makeup. Taylor's eyes are famously blue. If you mix blue and red, you'd get purple or violet, so when her blue eyes turn red from crying, they literally shift into violet. Okay, I get it. It feels like mental gymnastics, but like that's kind of a lot of what Taylor Swift's music is these days. I kind of just have to accept that. Tell me for real, do you think it's forever? Been #1, but I never had two, and I can't have fun if I can't have it lap around one more time before you get that finish. And that second verse, man, when the bass comes in and you fall into that groove, no complaints there. Really, it's just beautiful. Definitely in line with kind of what I thought the album was gonna go into, which was, you know, you look at the cover, we have this 1920s Gatsby kind of thing going with like the bejeweled dress, but then the text and the kind of cut and paste aesthetic of it kind of reminds you of like tabloid media, right? So going into this project, I was anticipating it to be this kind of concept album, using those contrasting eras to create some sort of commentary on, I guess, the life of a showgirl, right? That seems like a pretty clear pitch for the project. The album doesn't really go into that as much as I would have wanted it to, but, you know, there's still some moments here and there that I think it does it. Elizabeth Taylor being one of them, you know. I have my issues with the production. I have my issues with the song. Again, reminds me of Reputation, but like the good parts and the bad parts. You know what I mean? Anyways, track 3 is called Opalite. Ooh. Now, not to spoil, but this one's kind of a banger. Let's play it. Ooh, that faint guitar. Oh! That drum is so classic. Oh, with an acoustic guitar too. Gives it this like light, airy feel. When you know, you know, and when you don't, you don't. Like that's true, but it's not a bar. But my mama told me it's alright. Oh, that guitar in the back. Now the sky is Opalite. Okay, can you tell that I've been having this song on repeat all week? We have a little more of a low pass feel for the second verse. That's cool. I do appreciate that she's changing it up. The production's never stagnant, you know? Oh, and that drum. It's just a classic pop drum, dude. Life is a song, it ends when it ends. But my mind is dancing through the lightning strike. Now the sky is Opalite. This groove, that's 1989, come on. Come on, Harmony. Oh, the build. Oh, come on. Don't you sweat it, baby, it's alright. Through the lightning strike. Now the sky is Opalite. Oh, man, I'm exhausted. Hold on. Still kind of recovering from being sick. Listen, you guys can say whatever you want about this album. Can we at least all collectively agree that that's a banger? Like, there's no other way to put it. Instrumentally, is that a word? Instrumentally, it feels very 1989, but you have a little bit of these tiny little things in the production here and there, like little straggling moments that really feel like Midnights. And I think you get a really interesting blend between those two styles on this song. I think the concept is so cute, you know? It's Opalite. Color theory, right? For Taylor Swift, Lovin' used to be red. Right? It used to be blue, but now the sky is opalite. I just love to see that progression. If you look at opalite as a color, it's just very soft and soothing and very like satisfying to look at. I had a bad habit of missing lovers past. My brother used to call it eating out of the yeah, okay, that's just bad. It's never gonna last. I thought my house was haunted. I used to live with ghosts. And all the perfect couples said, when you know, you know, when you don't, you know. I'll be honest. The song's a banger. This verse ain't it. No interesting metaphor. No point really other than love used to suck. So, and now it's better. And all the foes and all the friends have seen it before. They'll see it again. Life is a song. It ends when it ends. I actually hate this lyric right here. Okay, I've actually hated this lyric since hearing the song for the first time. Because you could say that about anything. Life is a movie. It ends when it ends. Life is lunchtime. It ends when it ends. Life is sleep. It ends when it ends and you wake up. I was wrong. But my mama told me it's alright. You dancing through the lightning strike. I feel like that line is like through all of the tribulations and, you know, hard times. You were dancing through it. You were having a good little groovy time, you know? Sleepless in the onyx night, but now the sky is opalite. Onyx is a black rock. It's very dark looking, right? And opalite is like literally the polar opposite of that. I mean, no, the polar opposite would be white. It's just like really nice. It's soft and fun and good and bright and cute. It's cute color. Anyways, this song is great. I'm not going to get into the rest of the lyrics. Love the progression of it. I love the bridge. Really reminiscent of her best pop songs where she kind of carries out the chorus production a little bit and strips it away and punches it back up. It's just a recipe for greatness, man. Track number 4 is called Father Figure. Now, this is definitely one of the more controversial songs on the album. You guys will start to see why pretty easily. It's probably also one of my least favorites.
When I found you young, we were lost in the
Oh, I never noticed that. It's kind of like a descending.
winding road.
This drum kit has a lot of potential, but it also could be kind of corny, you know?
I'll be a father figure, deals with the devil because my dick's bigger.
That's it. That's the line, right?
Protect the family, leave it with me.
Ooh, I like that. Leave it with me.
I pay the check before.
We have a little bit of a thicker synth there. Boom, 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 boom. That bass, the bass. We keep bringing these basses into the second chorus. Oh, I mean second verse. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Deals with the devil because my dick's bigger. Protect the family.
Leave it. Oh.
Your thoughtless ambition, guided visions.
Wow. Your thoughtless ambition sparked the ignition on foolish decisions, which led to misguided vision. Very wordy. It's kind of cool though, right? Because we got some interesting rhymes here. But I guess it's all just a roundabout way of saying you being reckless led to dumb things, which led to people being misled. What I don't like is that this portion is just a fancy way of saying something really simple. When you see such big words, you kind of want them to evoke a deeper emotion.
You wanna fight.
Ooh, with the bass. Dum, 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 dum. Oh, this outro.
I saw potential.
All right, that's the song, guys. That's the one that has everyone saying Taylor Swift is a freaking weirdo and she's crazy businesswoman, billionaire person. Look, do I think the song is good? Honestly, no. I think of the first 4, at least that we've listened to, is probably the worst. But there's a big thing that I've noticed a lot of people are missing about this song that makes it make sense. You know, it's still a little bit weird having a lyric in the chorus that goes, my is bigger. But it's this idea that she's singing from the perspective of her like label dude, right? Who is Scott Borchetta. Didn't know who this guy was before this album, but now I do. If you read this verse, when I found you, you were young, wayward, lost in the cold. Pulled up to you in the Jag, turn your rags into gold. She's speaking from the perspective of this label exec that discovered her and, you know, took advantage of her. That's the idea of this. Some people were like conspiracizing online that it's about Olivia Rodrigo. That's not what this is. It's this backhanded kind of, I'm putting myself in their shoes, speaking from their perspective, but I'm saying I'm doing all these horrible things because that's what was done to her. And definitely also ties into the album concept and the aesthetic, so it's cool, it contributes to that. But overall, nothing insane. You know, not anything that I feel like I resonate with. I do think it's a little overhated though. Track 5, Eldest Daughter. Now, I am an eldest son, So maybe I can relate to this a little bit. I don't know.
Every joke's just trolling and memes, sad as it seems.
See, this verse is so weird because when you hear this piano track, you imagine it's going to be something really like sad, like a heartbreaking ballad. And the lyrics are going, every jokes are just trolling and memes. You know? Oh, also, I should mention, this is a track 5, which if you don't know, Taylor Swift track 5s are usually like the ones that are closest to her heart.
I'm not a bad bitch, and this isn't savage.
Bruh.
I must have been about 8 or 9. That was the
8, 9?
I fell off and broke.
Oh my god. Oh my god, that was horrible.
And we looked fire.
I think the emotion of this song is really strong. I can't with the Gen Z slang though. It's just cringe.
Lie back, a beautiful, beautiful time lapse. And things I said were dumb, 'cause I thought that I did.
Oh, that harmony.
Shimmers that innocent light back. Every youngest child felt they were raised up in the wild. 'Cause I'm not a bad bitch, and this isn't never gonna leave you now.
See, this is another example of a song where I think the sentiment is really nice, but it's just executed in kind of a weird way. I have to like constantly remind myself that Taylor Swift is a millennial. So the type of music that she makes, you know, her perspective and her lyrics, especially these days, is going to be just different. This song being a great example of that. She's talking about the disconnect. Everybody's so punk on the internet. Everyone's unbothered till they're not. Every joke's just trolling and memes, sad as it seems, apathy is hot. That just feels like a millennial being like, oh, what's wrong with the younger generation? But I'm not a bad bitch. Slay. And this isn't savage, but I'm never gonna let you down. I'm never gonna leave you out. You could interpret this in a couple different ways. I think if anyone that's not Taylor Swift is gonna resonate with this song, it's this idea that you feel a disconnect from society. But for Taylor, I think it comes from a feeling a disconnect with all these stars that are younger than her, and there being just a shift in the culture away from her style and her just in general. But I think these last 2 lines, but I'm never gonna break that vow. I'm never gonna leave you now. It's her saying she's not gonna stop making music for her fans, right? In spite of her feeling out of place or her, I guess, receiving lots of backlash. I'm never gonna leave you. She's talking to the Swifties. So yeah, overall, I don't mind this song. I just don't, it's cringe. Execution, guys, it matters, because while I understand the point she's trying to make, it doesn't change the fact that hypothetically, if I were to sing this in the car or something, I'd be singing the lyrics, I'm not a bad bitch, this isn't savage. Like, that's ass. Anyways, track 6 is called Ruin the Friendship. Now, this is low-key one of my favorites. Let's just rip this shit right now. Oh! Oh, come on! You got the bass, kind of an acoustic leg guitar. Very, very much so reminds me of Jonas Brothers, The Album vibe.
Full of neon names, you drive.
That bass line, bro. That's the thing with this album is like, I'm asking you watching right now. When's the last time you said,
well, I really like that bass line to the Taylor Swift song.
never? So in that sense, the vibe of this album does feel different, right? A little bit, just a little bit.
Should've kissed you anyway.
Oh.
Convenient.
Subtle harmonies.
Floors underneath my feet. Disco ball makes everything look cheap.
Oh, so we're back in high school. Some nice imagery going too. Definitely feels kind of red, you know?
But it's the 50 Cent song played.
50 Cent song played. Bottles in the club would have been the best mistake. Oh, man. There's something so, like, clean and classic about this feel, you know? With that bass. The light, the guitar.
When I left school, I lost track of you. Abigail called me with the bad news.
Oh.
And we'll never know why.
Why? But why?
An invitation.
Oh, with the piano?
Flew home anyway. With so much
Goosebumps, bro.
wise noise.
Oh, with the bass. The build back up.
Should've kissed you anyway. Oh, and it was not.
Oh, we're crying and dancing at the same time.
My advice is always ruin the friendship. Better that than to ask it all your life. Should've kissed you anyway.
Oh, man. Damn, dude. Disregarding the album and just looking at the song itself really feels like this time capsule moment, right? And I know it's going to turn into this complaint of, oh, she's not progressing or whatever. No, but regardless of that narrative, treating this like she's reminiscing on an old memory. Listening grass from September rain, gray overpass full of neon names. We're setting the scene, painting the picture. And it was not an invitation. Should have kissed you anyway. Should have kissed you anyway. And it was not convenient. No. but your girlfriend was away. Sad, bro. Everyone's probably been there at least once. Okay, I'm not gonna spill my own personal tea, but you shouldn't have kissed them anyway. Because in 2025, we respect relationships, even if they're long distance. Just because his girlfriend was away does not mean you get the okay. Wilted corsage dangles from my wrist. Over his shoulder, I catch a glimpse and see you looking at me. Oh, so she's on a date with someone else. She's dancing with another guy, and she's looking at the guy, the ruin the friendship guy. And it was not an invitation, but as the 50 Cent song played, I think he like tweeted or something saying like, yo, I got a shout out on the Taylor Swift album, let's go. Oh, that was really funny. Because it's not even like she's shouting him out in like a good way or bad way. It's just like a random artist that was popular at the time to like set the scene. But he's like, yo, I'm the only artist on the album that got the shout out. And this start verse. When I left school, I lost track of you. Abigail called me with the bad news. Goodbye. And we'll never know why. And you bring back the chorus with these new lyrics, and it was not an invitation, but I flew home anyway. With so much left to say, it was not convenient, no. But I whispered at the grave, should have kissed you anyway. And dude, like, listen, it's just freaking sad, dude. Now, if you guys don't know the context, apparently there was this guy that Taylor Swift was friends with, I guess as a teenager, a close guy friend that passed away. And I think she might have even spoken at his funeral. I don't know. But that's just so sad, dude. That not knowing. Thinking I should have gone for it, maybe things would be different. I can't, dude. Oh my God. And this post-chorus, a little bit of a retrospective. My advice is to always ruin the friendship. Better that than regret it for all time. My advice is to always answer the question. Better that than to ask it all your life. Apply that to everything. Great message. But apply that to this? Oh. What an idiot. Anyways, great song. There's nothing bad I could possibly have to say about that. Track 7. Oh God, track 7. Actually romantic now. This one. I guess we'll just play it and then we'll talk about it, but this is also probably the most controversial on the album. While we listen, I'm just gonna focus on the musicality of it, right? That guitar is really cool. Love that falsetto. Little gradual build.
No man has ever loved me like you do.
I like how the chorus doesn't really prematurely blow its load, you know? And then we get drums. Romantic, I really gotta hand it to you.
You think I'm tacky, baby? Stop talking dirty to me. Making me what? 'Cause it's actually
That was cool, the little feedback moment. I wish they spent a little more time dragging that out, though. That would have been better. Take another 4, you know?
romantic.
Let's discuss. So if you guys don't know, people are regarding this song as a response to Sympathy Is a Knife by Charli XCX, where literally all she does is talk about how Taylor's success makes her feel insecure. So why is it that on this song, she goes, I heard you call me boring Barbie when the cokes got you brave. High five my ex, and then you said you're glad he ghosted me. Now, having the time to really think about this song, right? Because obviously at face value, it kind of comes off like she's just insanely insecure. Like Charli was literally like, oh, you're doing so much. It just really makes me feel insecure. And then Taylor's just like, it's actually really sweet that you think that. It's actually so romantic. It makes me feel so good that you think that. Wow, I actually feel like really good and not offended at all and not hurt by that at all because it's just so nice. And it makes me wet. And it's kind of ridiculous. To play devil's advocate, I think because artists tend to give so much detail in their music, and just with how like social media kind of creates parasocial relationships, you tend to think that you know everything that goes on in these people's lives. I'm going to go out on a limb and say there's probably some kind of real beef between Taylor Swift and Charli XCX, even if she only had nice things to say in her music. Charli, I mean. Looking at what she says in the first verse, I mean, this is clearly about more than Sympathy Is a Knife. So I honestly think it's really funny how people are just latching on to that one line that references that song and just running with it, saying that she's overreacting. Now, to play devil's advocate to devil's advocate, should probably just leave us out of it regardless. That would definitely be the high road, but Taylor Swift has been petty. We all know this. It's just really funny because the things that she talks about in this song that Charli does in the first verse are so non-important that part of me just wants to be like, who cares if Charli doesn't like you? Matty Healy's a creep anyway, and he's short. Travis Kelce's like 6'5". You dodged a bullet. But at the end of the day, it's really not any of my business. So as Taylor Swift continues to call people out in her songs, I will continue to not care. I don't love All Too Well 10 Minute because it's about Jake Gyllenhaal. I love it because it's a banger. Jake Gyllenhaal is a great actor. Have you seen Roadhouse? I just feel like I had to address it with this song because it's so blatant. And that's a bummer because I do think there is an interesting idea here to create the kind of Avril Lavigne, Paramore style banger, but it's just kind of missed potential. You know, the whole song feels like it was written, cut, mixed, and mastered all in like 15 minutes and then slapped onto an album where it stands out like a sore thumb. But I've always kind of been the Swiftie that just really appreciated her good music. I can call out something like this as weird, but I could also say that Opalite is a banger. I don't see why those can't be separate, isolated things. Track 8 is called Wishlist. Very Midnight's kind of Bejeweled vibe.
Fat ass with a baby face. They
Why? Sexy baby, now it's fat ass with a baby face? Why is the baby back?
hope they get what they want. I just want you.
Oh, that jumps to the falsetto.
Got me taking down the driveway with the basketball. I just want you.
I think that's a really solid chorus. It's a really chill, reserved banger.
They wanna contract with me.
Key change with the bass.
They have what they want. They deserve what
And
they
then that
want.
snare.
They get what they want.
Reputation 2017 vibe. Just sit in this. Just enjoy this with me.
Got me dreaming about a driveway with the basketball. Best friend who I
That's all I want, bro. Give me a best friend who is funny and a baddie. Is it that hard?
a couple kids got the whole block looking like you.
I just want you. Such a chill, simple song. They want that yacht life under chopper blades. They want those bright lights and Balenci shades. All the things that most people in Hollywood in the limelight are chasing. And this pre-chorus is like a precursor. You know, they should have what they want. That's fine. Good for them. But I just want you. Have a couple kids, got the whole block looking like you. She said, impregnate my ass. I mean, not her ass. Obviously, not in there. You know what I mean. Really simple. And again, does in a way tie back to the Life of a Showgirl, right? When you get to her level of, I guess we'll say, success and fame, and you're also at her age, the priorities start to shift a little bit. You know, maybe she wants a family. Apparently, this song is a lot of people's least favorite. I guess I could see how the production would feel a tad generic, and maybe the verses are, no, not maybe, they are very cringe. But I mean, shoot. At this point, I kind of feel like I've learned to adjust my perspective while listening to her songs, to filter through all the millennialness on this album. At the end of the day, I really like it just because I like the hook, and that's one of those things that's just completely subjective. Track 9 is called Wood. Another controversial one, but also kind of a banger, in my humble opinion. Let's play it. As you can see, we got a very clear Jackson 5. The singer is Jackson!
He loves me now.
Oh!
And baby, I'll admit
Oh,
I've
this
been a
freak.
little.
Hands on mine!
Only that bitch who is sitting on a falling star. Sounds cocky, hypnotize me and open my eyes to know a hard rock.
See, that line is like weird to me because I can't tell if she's talking about a hard rock, like as hard.
Curse on me was broken by your magic wand.
Okay, his magic wand is his penis. Duh.
New heights, manhood,
New heights.
knock on wood. Only that bitch who is sitting on a
I like that. It's like knocking on wood, you know, the knock, knock, knock.
Forgive me, it's
Ooh, bass, we're back.
open my thighs.
Let's discuss, shall we? Obviously, the reason this song is so controversial is because it's a song about Travis Kelce's massive dong. I actually think it's kind of like a cute kind of tongue-in-cheek thing, though, to like use the double meaning of wood. So obviously, when you have lines like redwood tree, it ain't hard to see, we're talking about a massive freaking sausage. And then when we say stuff like I don't gotta knock on wood, she's talking about how she's finally happy and she feels safe. Like you look at these verses, in past relationships, she feels like she was never reassured, always kind of felt like they were one foot out the door. But with Travis, that ain't the case. She doesn't have to knock on wood. I think that's really cute. Post-chorus, forgive me, it sounds cocky. Which even that is like, is she talking about cocky or is she talking about cocky? You know what I mean? He ahmatized me and opened my eyes. Swift censors herself from using the slang term stigmatized. I guess stigmatized like is a word like that people use. Regardless, that's kind of gross. Redwood tree, it ain't hard to see. His love was the key that opened my thighs. I mean, if this isn't your thing, totally understandable. But I don't think there's anything that she does here that is like overtly offensive, at least in comparison to what other pop stars are doing these days. It's just the Sabrina Carpenter effect, you know? Bedchem, Juno, those are obviously about one of her relationships. Ariana Grande tweeted like an actual number. You know, at least she's just saying like redwood tree, like it's generally bigger. New heights of manhood, you know, shout out the podcast, but also being like new heights of man, like that's kind of clever. I think that's clever. Track 10 is called Canceled. It's a cool guitar, I guess.
Did your girl boss too close to the sun? Good thing I like my friends cancel. They're the ones with matching scars.
I don't mind this song's sentiment at all. I think the point that she's trying to convey makes sense. It's just doing like a heightened reputation thing that comes off really corny and cringe, you know? It's just a little much.
Fucking off her.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
We're just too smug for you.
This pre-chorus sucks, dude. Listen to this.
Good thing I like my friends cancel.
I could get behind this groove if the lyrics were like not as on the nose, I guess.
Matching scars. They
Oh god. The halftime drum. Stop, bro. Vocals kind of ate though, I'm not gonna lie. She sounds good.
Can't be good, then just be better.
Interesting. Pull everything away and it's just the synth.
Good thing I like my friends cancel.
Cloaked in Gucci and in Scandal.
Scars.
Can we get a raspberry, please? Yeah, you know, I mentioned earlier that while I consider myself a fan of Taylor Swift and I really like her good music, and I mean, like, I follow her on Instagram, I would not consider myself a diehard Swiftie. The reason I preface that is because I think this song is horrendous. I think this is probably one of her worst songs that she's ever put out. Did your girl boss too close to the sun? Did you catch you having far too much fun? Just like really cringe. But I do think the sentiment to this song works kind of. If she wants to, again, tie it back into the concept of this album and talk about how, yeah, everyone's getting canceled. Taylor Swift was canceled before because everyone's imperfect. That's one thing, but just listen to this chorus. Good thing I like my friends canceled. I like them cloaked in Gucci and in a scandal. Like my whiskey sour and poisoned thorny flowers. Welcome to my underworld where it gets quite dark. At least you know exactly who your friends are. They're the ones with matching scars. It just doesn't touch on the nuance of it. All she's saying is, I like my friends canceled. Yeah, they're a little bad. I like my friends a little sour. I like my whiskey a little bit, you know, bitter. And in staying that surface level, it just kind of comes off as ignorant. Like, yeah, Taylor's instance of getting canceled, which was like, what, 9 years ago, showed some of the flaws in cancel culture. But to take this stance of almost being proud of it and like diminishing the things that you do to get canceled and treating like this cute little cheeky thing like welcome to my underworld in today's climate where some people are getting canceled for like real things, not just girl bossing too close to the sun, whatever the that means. Like, somebody show this woman the list of Diddy charges. The production is also just corny as hell, bro. Like, what the I don't know how someone listens to that song and thinks, yeah, this sounds badass, dude. This is a banger. All the bad parts of Reputation, crank that up by like 300% and then remove any redeeming qualities. That's what that song is to me. But that's enough tearing that song to pieces. I'm sure you could find plenty of people doing that online. Let's listen to Honey, track 11.
You can call me honey if you want, because I'm the one you want.
You know, rhyming want with want, lame.
When anyone called me sweetheart, it was passive aggressive.
This beat, bro, this beat.
Honey, it was standing in the bathroom. You touched my face.
Again with the bass, man. Beautiful. I just love a nice juicy bass.
Pink skies, you can call me honey if you want, because I'm the one you want. In the land, what's the plan? What's the plan?
What's the plan? Oh.
You can call me honey if you want.
Wow. Dude, it's a jazz club.
Honey, when anyone called me sweetheart.
I feel like this chorus has come around like 10 times though. It's actually like a kind of a fun chorus. I don't mind it. And this groove is really fun. The f was that?
Honey, if you want.
When I first heard that song, I was really high off of it because it just felt really different for her. But I think now listening to it more, the part of me that doesn't really see it as like a banger is just like, I wish there was a little more going on. I do really appreciate the low pass one where you go back to that really simple club vibe. But I don't think they commit to that enough, and I don't think it lasts long enough. The trajectory of it just feels very light and simple. With that said, I do think it's a cute sentiment. When I heard Honey before, it was passive aggressive at the bar. It was when girls were saying, honey, you look ridiculous. But when he says it, it feels genuine. Like he is really endeared to her. Cute idea. I mean, after canceled. Come on. Anything's good. All right, we've arrived to track 12, Life of a Showgirl featuring Sabrina Carpenter. Going into this song, that's a pretty huge expectations, guys, okay? Because Sabrina Carpenter features is not something I take lightly. Taylor Swift is always going to be near and dear to my heart because she's the one that got me into girly pop music. But if you're asking me who I listen to more in like the past month, past year even, it's Sabrina. That's my freaking girl. And you know, Taylor Swift has a tendency to like not do a lot with her features. Like the standard Snow on the Beach, you know? But I don't think that was the case here. So let's play. Interesting drum textures there with the clap and that really like kind of soft kick.
Her name was Kitty. Made her money being pretty and witty. She didn't do it legitly.
Legitly. That's a funny word.
Dancing in her garters and fishnets.
These rhymes are interesting.
You don't know the life of a
Showgirl day. I do like that end part of the chorus. You don't know
She was a menace, the baby of father, whored around like all men did.
Oh shoot, like emails I can't send because her dad cheated on her wife.
Live a magnificent life. It's
Yeah, you know, she just sounds better on this vibe.
leave us for dead.
Sabrina's Morgan, bro.
I took her pearls of wisdom, hung them from my neck.
Yeah, this bridge feels so random and like disconnected from the rest of the song.
Who wish I'd hurry up and die.
Ooh.
I tried. Thank you for the lovely bouquet. I'm married to the hustle.
That's how you spell sequence?
Now I'll make my money being pretty and witty.
Oh, this feels very nice. Very grand. Ooh, that guitar. I did hear that she used actual Eras Tour audio for that, you know, like of the crowd cheering, which is sweet, but it's also like so faint and like so vague sounding. It doesn't feel distinct enough for that to like resonate. You know what I mean? It just sounds like general crowd screaming. I do like the song though, you know? I think Seeing It, it's a title track, it's the last song on the album, and it's a freaking Sabrina Carpenter feature. You're gonna expect more. Much more of a reserved take on this idea. It feels like they're coming to that conclusion in like a more softer, more accepting way. Like, you just don't know the life of a showgirl. There's no anger with that tone. And I also think that Sabrina and Taylor coming together on a song like this really does send the message home, right? Because it's like they're meeting on a common ground. If anyone is gonna know the life of a showgirl, it's gonna be two of the biggest like girly pop stars in the world. I think that point just wouldn't get across as well if it was just Taylor. So in that sense, it works really well. I would have just wanted it to be bigger. Imagine if Sabrina and Taylor were like on a banger together. That would have been legendary. Sabrina also did freaking Mog, so maybe that's a sign of the times. I don't know. Regardless, that's the life of a showgirl.
Going into this album, I really didn't expect it to be good. As much as I did want it to be, I was also very aware of the state of Taylor Swift's career and how none of her recent output has felt nearly as ambitious or concise as it was, say, 10 years ago. And with every good sign we saw, like a return to standard pop music or Max Martin's name in the byline, all I said to myself was, cool, because I've been burnt too many times already to let that excite me. I know I seemed really hot and cold throughout this entire video, but the truth is, I do think that this album is more good than bad, just slightly more. And it's really interesting, because I've genuinely never seen so many people be so outspoken about how much they hate an album before. I think part of that comes from how socially acceptable it's becoming to hate on Taylor Swift in general. But like I've already touched on in this video, I just feel like people are kind of generalizing, choosing to see what they want to see, and using this album as kind of a scapegoat to collectively join forces and stand up against this greedy billionaire. But that really doesn't have anything to do with the actual album. Let's get back on track. I think the production on this project is overall pretty solid. It definitely benefits from not having Jack Antonoff on it. And while I think there's some moments that aren't that great and other moments that aren't really fleshed out to their full potential, when you zoom out, I think it's generally a step in the right direction from TTBD. Lyrically, this album is pretty awful. For Tortured Poets, lyrics was definitely the main appeal, and here it's like the main flaw. But I think it stems from an uncertainty from Taylor of what the tone of this album should be. Songs like Elizabeth Taylor and Cancel will have you thinking it's supposed to be this big scale, dark commentary on the harsh realities of being in the limelight. But then you have a song like Wood, which is kind of a banger. Like, I really like it, but what are we doing? And while I think this project's themes do still manage to shine through, it's just a mess, especially during the second half, and that really does suck because I feel like sonically there's so much potential to have created something that could stand out in her discography if she had just dropped the Gen Z lingo and locked in for a second. But a lot of the songs feel rushed. A lot of them fall back on tropes that she's used throughout her entire discography, and overall you have a project that's saying something different but not doing anything different. Honestly, is it saying something different though? Like, I feel like Taylor Swift has constantly been talking about getting canceled since she was canceled literally 9 years ago. I feel like in a lot of ways, Taylor Swift has kind of become plagued by her own successes, because even with how I listened to the album in this video, there's so much of me saying, oh, she did that one thing from Red or that other thing from Reputation. And that's honestly a trend that I've seen with a lot of other people and like Taylor Swift reactions on YouTube. It's all about calling things out, you know, the Marvel cameos of it all. With where she's at right now, I just don't see her blazing a new trail for herself. And that kind of sucks, but it is also expected, you know, that happens for all artists. No one went into GNX expecting it to be better than T-Pab. No one went into Sexy Songs for You expecting it to be good. Kanye West is another prime example. Vultures 2 is horrible. So I think Showgirl is a solid 5.5 out of 10, which is one of those scores that is just like right there in the middle, where it's too low for the Swifties and too high for the haters. If you could ignore canceled and ignore the context to actually romantic and ignore the weird ways she articulates herself in the lyrics, I think it's a collection of fun songs with catchy hooks and somewhat interesting ideas. In spite of all of this album's bad qualities, I still kind of enjoy it. You could call it a bias if you want, but that's not something I can control. You know, everyone's biased. At the end of the day, I think a lot of the reasons why I don't like this album just kind of reflect the issues that I have with the state of Taylor Swift's career. As much as I am a Swiftie, and as much as I'll continue to keep plastering that all over my titles on YouTube to get more clicks, I don't think anyone should be her level of famous. When you get to be that big, it's just bad for everyone. Fans become more rabid, haters become more hateful, and it cheapens your output because literally whatever you release is gonna go #1. It's gonna make tons of money, so you really don't have any stakes. But anyways, here's my song ranking. These top few, fire. Bottom few, or really just bottom one, straight dookie, horrible ass. Be sure to comment down below your thoughts on this album and like this video if you enjoy. It helps out the channel a lot. Also, apparently there's a new feature where you could like give hype points to a video to like help it perform better in the algorithm. I'd really appreciate it if you did that. I mean, you don't have to, but like that'd be really cool because, you know, we're trying to grow. And to close, I'll say, like what you like. When I came out of this album liking it, you have no idea how many voices I heard telling me, "What's wrong with you, bro? You're freaking deaf. This album sucks." But I just kind of doubled down. You know, granted, I did like it a lot more on my first listen, and then with every re-listen, it does kind of cheapen. Anyways, that's pretty much it. See you guys in the next one.
And buddy, if you had a good time watching this video, I would really love it if you watch some more. My channel has a plethora of content for you, so please leave a like, and you better hit subscribe. If you like this vid, a thumbs up would be cool. Hype points are just as good, and subscribe, you know you should. Straight guy likes Taylor Swift, yeah, I look like a fool. It's not my fault, her music's good. Just subscribe, you know you should. Forgive me for begging, please, please, cause I really need you to leave a like. Lady Gaga video is next, and then Kendrick, so time to subscribe.